I was thinking about this morning because I was watching, I was reading a few of the things that Keir Starmer had to say about the football match, and they were saying that this is going to go ahead with Aston Villa. He's going to press for it. The local authority, in conjunction with West Midlands Police, have said that they don't feel they can police it. They feel that they cannot control the crowd, and that's why it's not going ahead. Keir Starmer has said, no, it absolutely will. So now you've got this problem where twofold. The first one is, if serious disorder does break out, it is going to be on Keir Starmer's head. He is going to have to explain why he let that match go ahead. And I don't think that's going to be a particularly good press day for him. The second issue is, it may be revealed that he's not as big of a football fan as he claims to be. Because if you don't know that team is going to be a bit chaotic, how much football do you really watch or engage with?
Real football fans watch every match of the Israeli Premier League.
I think that you would have a cursory understanding of, you know.
You saw the news last year.
Yeah.
Like, we're all like, I think most people, even if they don't keep up with any football, would have seen the images of them like marauding through Amsterdam and being like, who are these mental people? I was talking about this yesterday with somebody, can't remember who, and I was saying, so say, obviously I'm a Rangers fan, but say Rangers drew Shamrock Rovers and away. Dublin police might be slightly wary of that, and they might maybe make a recommendation that actually away fans, but no one would be like, that's anti-Protestant. What are you talking about? That's anti-Scottish.
They probably would say that, actually.
Do we think that Maccabi haven't been banned from any other away game that they had this year so far? So I guess, to play devil's advocate, the question is, why is it just Birmingham police that can't police them? And why? Like,
well, I don't think you are playing devil's advocate. I think if we are going to have a nuanced conversation about this, I think that we can say that Birmingham, bringing Israeli fans into Birmingham is already pretty heightened. When you bring in a team that is as rambunctious as they have displayed themselves to be, I think that they probably... It was probably an assessment of, I don't know if this is the right time. Like, you know, out of all of the times that we could have hosted them, I'm not sure this is the right time.
Or place. It's surely a demographic thing as well.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, but say they were playing Rangers or like a Scots team or Hearts or something, or like somewhere, a Cornish team or something like that. Like, obviously, Birmingham has like a really high Asian population. And if a football team that chants death to Arabs is walking around chanting death to Arabs, I can see how that would get out.
But that's the really key line there. That's the really key component of this, because there was a lot of like kind of like, I was watching the sort of like the leftist discussion like unfold on Twitter over the weekend, and it was very much like, what is it about Birmingham? Like, what are you talking about? And it's like, okay, well, let's actually have like a nuanced discussion about this. Yes, if you do bring a team that shouts death to Arabs into a highly, you know, populated area where there are Arabs, that is going to be a problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
You know, it's just sort of obvious. I do think that sometimes the leftists sort of lose the argument because they're unwilling to acknowledge like quite basic components of the argument.
I wonder if that's going to accelerate right-wing talking points of it. Like,
everything accelerates.
We can probably expect that the decision is going to be overturned and Maccabi fans are going to be allowed in Birmingham, and it's going to be a shit show. You can there is completely a feasible scenario where the people of Birmingham are blamed for the disruption and the violence rather than the Maccabi fans,
because people are going to show up.
That was
up.
But that was the discourse around
Tommy
what happened in
Robinson
Amsterdam in the first time, was that Moroccan people were attacking Maccabi fans when it was Amsterdammers that were being attacked, and then videos from Maccabi fans claiming to be attacked by brown faces was what was carried for the first 24 hours of that news cycle. So it's not unfeasible to think that it's going to happen again. And I don't know, like at what point is it unreasonable for the Prime Minister to just be overturning local safety concerns of the police forces in those areas?
Yeah, well, I think that there's an abstract discussion to this we could have, which is you could argue that UEFA should have made this decision. It is sort of, like UEFA's line throughout all of this has been like, it's for local authorities to decide whether they can put the game on. And it's sort of like, okay, do we really need to bring this huge international dispute to a random city? Like, that is probably going to erupt. Like, perhaps that is actually a decision for UEFA,
But it's with everything. It's like, it's not only football, it's things as trivial as Eurovision. Immediately, Russia were taken out of Eurovision. Russia were taken out of UEFA and FIFA competitions. The Olympics. That was for doping rather than war.
Oh, sorry. No, you're right.
But
a war on fair play. You could
but it's been
real
yeah.
It's been the campaigns of people in individual countries to say that their country should not be playing against Israel. Like I know in an Irish context, there was a thing a while ago where the women's basketball team was drawn in a group with Israel, and pressure went on them to boycott the game, not show up. The FIBA threatened the Irish Basketball Association with a fine if they didn't play the game against Israel. So they had to play the game against Israel. So you've got that. There is the scenario where because UEFA and because FIFA are not banning Israel from the tournaments, that the hyper sports focused argument is if Italy don't show up for the game against Israel, Israel win a 3-0 because the match was abandoned. They just continue to benefit. So there's only so much boycotting that you can do on the ground level. It needs to be done by people like UEFA, FIFA, the Olympic Association, Eurovision. Whoever it is needs to have some sort of moral consistency with how they're operating on an international level.
Calling freelancers, small and mid-sized business owners. Tide's Instant Saver account offers up to 4% AER variable, flexible access and competitive returns.
Unlike other options on the market, you won't need to hold your money with Tide for a fixed period. That means you'll have instant access and free withdrawals whenever you need it.
You can get started today with just £1, making it easy to start growing your business savings.
Want to know what you'll earn? Tide's clever calculator gives you a clear picture up front.
Our audience will receive £100 cash back when you deposit £5,000 within the first 30 days of opening your Tide Instant Saver account.
Use code JOE, that's JOE, JOE. New members receive an annual equivalent rate of up to 4% AER variable, free for 6 months. For the full offer, visit tide.co/Joe. T's and C's apply.
Okay,
No.
can I pull back on that for one moment? So I would actually say that is one component of this entire furore, but I would say that it's not actually the issue that we're dealing with right now. And I think that while that is the bigger picture question and the bigger picture question that a number of like politicians and football fans have jumped onto, which is like, should we even be playing Israeli teams at this time? The conversation that we're having at the moment is that team who has proven it cannot behave itself, should it be touring? Yes, exactly. Should it be touring, and should it be putting local police forces who are already stretched under more pressure? It's extraordinarily expensive to police a football match. And like I know that a lot of the stadiums and a lot of the clubs are like, in part responsible for the financing of that, but they're not necessarily responsible for the knock-on costs. So you might have a pub that's outside that now needs to get extra security because to monitor who from which team is coming in to that pub, right, for example. So there's a knock-on local economy cost. There's also a local knock-on police cost because the disorder that could break out is not centralized to where the stadium is. It could also be in another part of the city where fans might be staying at hotels. Who's to say that both, either side of the game, those teams won't be staying in the same hotel? Local police will have to go and attend it, right? So these are all of the considerations that are being made at a local level. The local level decision that has been supported by the West Midlands Police is actually nothing to do with what has broken out in Israel, Gaza. It's simply like a financial and safety issue of, can we afford to? Do we have the resources to do it? No, we don't. We can't facilitate it.
Like it's the Particularly with this, I've wondered that there's just a gap in understanding of Westminster politicians of how, well, one, the politics of football, but two, the logistics of football.
But I think it's willful. It's willful
Yeah.
misunderstanding. This entire situation is being misrepresented. Like you spelled out very clearly there. It's a policing decision being based on like the safety of everyone involved, whether that's Villa fans, Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, people in Birmingham. And it's just being misrepresented. There was like, I can't remember, was it Matthew Syed wrote in the Times being like, we need to stand up for against anti-Semitism and let Maccabi Tel Aviv fans come. It's like, well, that's not the issue at all.
But
they have like a diehard racist like fan group who are going to cause absolute carnage. And this decision would have been made regardless of wherever they were from. And it's just like, it's so disingenuous to pretend that it is anything to do with anti-Semitism. It's just, I find it quite.
But it's the argument that a lot of the defenses of outside of what Israel is doing in Gaza, a lot of the defenses of things that are being claimed as anti-Semitic is more anti-Semitic in itself. Like saying that you're essentially saying by banning this violent element of a football team,
Yeah, that's
it is inherently Jewish to be violent.
Yes.
It's inherently Jewish to be anti. Like, that's insane.
Of course it is.
And the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom is basically conflating those two things, you know? So, it's getting more and more bizarre by the moment.
But again, see, this is why the decision should have been made or taken by UEFA in the first place. Because if you look at what UEFA did with Hungary, for example, and they were criticised, you know, for how they handled that, particularly because it was so late stage and, you know, Hungary had already gone for a number of the players, you know, from opposing teams. Do you remember that? I mean, it was mental. And then UEFA was like, right, it's got to be a closed stadium because you cannot get your fans in check. You can't get them in order. Do you know what I'm saying? But so maybe that's the argument that should be. When I say UEFA should have taken the decision, maybe it should have been from the outset. It should have been, this is going to be a closed stadium. This is going to be empty. Because, do you know what I mean? But UEFA let the decision be taken locally. And so I can only assume either it's a UEFA failing or it's simply the local area said, we don't have the facilities to put this on.
Yeah. Your earlier point was actually like, it brings it all into... There are pubs around stadiums that the landlord knows is the away fan pub. And for time immemorial, they have been the hosts of the away fans every single time. I'd imagine if you haven't seen what happened in Amsterdam last year or whatever's been happening with Maccabi Tel Aviv fans since then, to know that you're going to have those people in your pub on that night, you must be terrified. You know,
I mean, it's not good to be in a away pub on the best of days. Do you know what I mean? Like, let alone when
you've seen these people in the year of our Lord 2025 doing those things. Well, it's not the 1980s anymore. Like it's not been the case that away fans go to a stadium and trash the place anymore. And now you're just getting into the situation where you're like, I'm probably gonna have to replace all the windows. I'm probably gonna have to board up the whatever. You know, like. You shouldn't have to be faced with that kind of thing. And how much staff
do you have to pay? You know, and the thing is, you can't just shut up shop. You can't just decide, right, we're not going to host this particular team. Because again, that is a localized decision, right? Which in the broader context of what Keir Starmer is saying, you will be criticised for. If you as a business owner say, I cannot take on the financial liabilities of this team, well, the prevailing line, the government line, is that is anti-Semitic. When it's not.
And next thing you know...
It's a local decision.
Next thing you know, Tommy Robinson's rallying outside your pub.
Exactly.
Thanks to Tide and their instant savings account for sponsoring this week's podcast.
New members receive an annual equivalent rate of up to 4% AER variable.
Our audience will receive £100 cash back when you deposit £5,000 within the first 30 days of opening your Tide Instant Saver account.
Use code JOE. For the full offer, visit tide.co/Joe. T's and C's apply.